Yeah, 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 yeah. This the Bradham Memory Show. Yeah, this the Bradham Memory Show. Yeah, this the Bradham Memory Show. Yeah, this the Bradham Memory Show. In the field with my dogs, like the Sixers, we gon' ball. Wake up early in the morning, tune in anytime at all. Hard time, all season, don't believe in off seasons. Watch the Phillies, watch the Flyers, and the Eagles on the weekends, yeah. This is not your ordinary radio show. Ain't just talking sports, we be talking about the culture. All across the globe, anything you wanna cover. This is for the fans, no room for our front runners. This the Bradham Memory Show. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know the vibes.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Bradham Memory Show. Marcus Bradham, Justin Emery.
Oh, I got to do this. This one's for two different teams that have done this since we've last done the show. Let's go!
Absolutely. Let's go.
That's two 7-0s that are here right now, Marcus. 7-0 Birds and a 7-0 victory.
7-0 and 7-0 at the bank.
Yes.
I'm sorry, 6-0 at the bank.
And real quick, because we're going to dive into this, and we're not going to get to a lot of extracurricular activities besides this. So I got to just say, props to Sarah for cleaning up on the BetMGM app last night for the game.
Really?
Cleaned up.
Did she have those homers?
Homers. She had homers. She had Phillies the spread. She had Phillies money line. She had under 7.5 total runs. She cleaned up yesterday.
Wow.
So, and
Sarah, put on your sunglasses.
Yes, I mean, I gotta just get to that, because if I don't get to that now, I'll forget it. So I just wanted to say shout out to that. Another thing, which if I don't get to it now, we will forget. We ran the stop sign on this. We've been celebrating our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
We blew the stop sign on that.
Happy 2 years to us.
Happy 2 years to us. Once the Phillies are done and we can calm down a little bit, we'll get to all the stuff that has happened over the last month that we kind of blew off.
Yeah, so before we get into the breakdown of games 1 through 3, I gotta make an opening statement, because this is something that's bothering me a little bit and has bothered me going into this series and throughout this playoff run. A lot of the national media, the narrative is the Phillies are this Cinderella, Rocky story, this underdog story.
Improbable.
It's gonna kind of make the parallels to the 2017 Eagles and the underdogs and the hungry dog run faster. That's not the case at all. Here's what the Phillies are. The Phillies are the hot girl that didn't know she was hot and just found out she was hot recently. Like, there was a movie that came out back in 1999. It's called She's All That, with Freddie Prinze Jr. and a girl by the name of Rachel Lee Cook. Rachel Lee Cook, her role was supposed to be the girl that nobody thought was attractive, and all of a sudden she puts on the dress and becomes attractive. Bro, we all knew she was hot. We knew she was a smoke show when she first came on the screen. She was wearing bad clothing. She was in bad outfits. That doesn't mean she's not hot. And that's all the Phillies were. They were in a bad outfit. You know, this is the highest payroll in the major leagues. You have a generational talent in Bryce Harper. You have the best catcher in baseball in JT Realmuto. You go out, you sign Kyle Schwarber. You go out, you sign Nick Castellanos. You know, you bring up Bryson Stott. Alec Boehm's the guy you've been waiting on. You know, you have the Nola Wheeler show at top of rotation. Ranger Suarez, as you saw last night, is no slouch. This team is not an underdog story. That's why it was completely egregious how the Houston Astros were basically a 2-1 favorite going into this series. I never understood that to save my life, because that's not what this team was. This team, now, if you want to say the run is improbable, you can say that based on how it all unfolded. The way September ended, how they kind of like limped into the playoffs. You know, you had that nice start from Nola to get you into the playoffs. But before that, it got ugly. You get swept by the Cubs. So, yes, improbable. I'm not mad at that use of that word of this being an improbable run. However, that doesn't mean they're underdogs and they're rocky. This is not what this team is. This team is a team. Get used to this, because now this team I expect this team to be around playing this quality of baseball for the next 5 to 7 years.
I agree.
Look what we have here. Bryce Harper, prime. JT Realmuto, prime. Castellanos, prime. Schwarber, prime. Nola, prime. Wheeler, prime. Suarez, prime. Boom. Not even in his prime. Stott, not even in his prime. Marsh, not even in his prime. Painter comes up next year. Abel, maybe. But Painter definitely comes up next year. This team should be here for a while. And oh, by the way, I believe they're probably going to let Segura go in the offseason. Sorry, Gene. But I believe we're probably out here in the offseason. I think they'll go out and get Trey Turner in the offseason after this. And solidify and move Stott to his natural position with second base and bring Trey Turner in to be your shortstop and your prototypical leadoff hitter, which makes them even better. So they're going to be around for a while. These are not, like, the Phillies are not by any stretch of the imagination a Cinderella story that, oh my gosh, we never saw this coming. Like, this isn't Santa Clara. This isn't St. Francis. This is Duke. That's what they are. You look at the way their team built. They're built like Duke University, not built like Valparaiso. And like this narrative of that really has bothered me because it's just not true and not fair. But as usual, the national media usually gets this stuff wrong because the Phillies are a team that they were under the radar for a very long time. You know, they fire the manager, they bring in Rob Thompson. Well, not bring him in. They promote Rob Thompson, and then they go on the run. And you know, Rob Thompson's another guy that kind of exemplifies what this team's about. Rob Thompson's a guy, he never got his shot, but if you think about everything that he did with baseball, why the bleep did he not get a shot? This guy was in the Yankees organization, and really, you can make an argument that he's responsible for Derek Jeter. He's responsible for Jorge Posada. He's responsible for Andy Pettitte. He's basically responsible for a lot of that run, a lot of those guys that got to those places, the 96 Yankees, the 98 Yankees, the 2000 Yankees, those teams that were so good. He's responsible. Derek Jeter was on the pregame show yesterday talking about how he's known Rob Thompson. He was 18 years old, and he was in that farm system developing all these guys. So it's interesting to me that he never got his shot because he's not an underdog. No one, based on his pedigree of everything that he did in baseball, why should it be a surprise that he turned out to be a great manager? Why should that surprise anybody? It shouldn't surprise anybody because the guy's been in the game forever. It's just that sometimes, like, you know who he is, kind of? He reminds me a lot of Jim Johnson. Jim Johnson would have been a great head coach. It's just that Jim Johnson was so good in his role, he never got promoted because of that. Sometimes in life...
Well, I mean, part of that is he also has come out and said, you know, before that he didn't really necessarily have the biggest desire to want to be a head coach.
But I don't think Rob Thompson did either. I think Rob Thompson was very content in a role he was, similar to Jim Johnson. Like, he was very happy. It's just he never came. I don't believe that Rob Thompson ever went on any interviews. I think he was very happy being under Joe Torre, being under, you know, Girardi. I think he was happy in those roles. And then it was like, you know, Girardi gets fired and like, well, why don't you try it? And he's like, all right, let's see what happens. But I think those guys, I think Jim Johnson would have been a great head coach. But sometimes you get pigeonholed because you're so good at what you do. That's just what you are. Jeff Stoutland.
I look at Sean McDermott, and I think that's what Jim Johnson would have been.
Yeah. Yep.
Because that was his guy.
A Jim Johnson disciple, Sean McDermott.
Well, and I would say probably the top one, the top disciple.
I would agree. So, like,
and not just from a success standpoint. I'm saying I believe that he looked at Sean McDermott as, okay, this is my protege.
So before we started breaking down the games, I really wanted to say that because it's just really been bothering me. Like, this is not that, like, get used to this, guys. This is what we've been waiting for. And this is why we wanted this team to get in, because getting in this team is dangerous. And you see it because Dave Dombrowski designed this team. He said, you know what, bleep pitching. We'll have it if we need it. But I want boppers. I want guys that can produce and score a multitude of runs. And that's what they're doing. Game one, get down 5-0 very early. Tucker hits two bombs on you. get you down 5-0. And, listen, I'm not going to say I wasn't panicking. Of course I was panicking. They get the one run, but for me, the biggest hit of that entire game, besides obviously the obvious and JT, it was the Bohm double to make it 5-3. That was absolutely ginormous. Because I think if Verlander leaves that inning 5-1, I think the Astros go on and win that game. Because I don't think the Phillies muster another rally to get over the hump. But the 5-3 woke everyone back up again. It was a huge hit with a 2-out hit. All those runs were scored on 2 outs. And it was a big, big, big swing in momentum. You felt the pendulum swing in that moment right there. And when it got to 5-3, I don't know about you, but right there, like, the comeback, they're going to tie this game. We're going to tie this game. We're okay. The 5-3 made me feel good.
Agreed. Once 5-1, okay, it's better than 5-0. When it went to 5-3, I was at the Borgata watching it. I was downstairs in one of the bars. I was about to go upstairs and just say, you know what, I'll watch the rest of this in my room. If they lose it, at least I'm upstairs. It goes 5-3. I turned to the bartender. I said, you know what, let me get another one.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And then once Justin Verlander, the nightmare and horrors of his World Series outings continues. He is a completely different pitcher in the World Series than he has at any time in his illustrious career. This guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to win a Cy Young this year. In the World Series, he is straight trash truck juice.
Yep.
And it showed itself again. And you saw, like, he didn't have his A+ fastball. He was around 95, 94, 95. Never got to 97, 98.
Yeah, you also got to remember he's almost 40.
Right, but
like, he's not going to tip the gun at 100 like he used to anymore.
But he's like still a 97, 98 guy. Like, he can still get up there, and that's typically where he is. But the A+ fastball, it just wasn't there. And the Phillies are primarily a fastball. They are really good at hitting the fastball, and they're not so good at hitting off-speed pitch, which makes Game 3 so interesting.
Oh, so I got a lot on that.
You drop Game 2, and Wheeler. Listen, we'll get into this. I want to be positive right now, but I am a little nervous about today and tomorrow. We'll get into that in a little bit. So they did drop Game 2. Wheeler, speaking of not having his A+ stuff, did not have his A+ fastball. Wheeler, if you watch Wheeler this postseason, he's been a guy that says, listen, here's my fastball. I dare you to hit it. He couldn't do that in Game 2. He couldn't do that because the A+ fastball wasn't there. He's been topping out at 98, 99. And in Game 2, he was like 95, 96 occasionally. Like, you watch, when Fox has that the flame into the number when it gets over 96. You didn't see that at all with him. And you saw that, like, when San Diego, Atlanta, and St. Louis, you saw that like every other pitch.
Yep.
You didn't see that at all against them. By the way, Joe Davis, John Smoltz, great job.
Yep.
Great job. Can't say enough great things about them. I thought I was going to miss Joe Buck. I'm not. I think Joe Davis has been really, really, really good.
You know how old he is?
32.
Close. 34.
He looks young, but he's doing a great.
My point is that I would say he would already be my team one for baseball for Fox.
Bro, swing of his life is one of the greatest calls ever. Bryce Harper with the swing of his life in the Padres series. That was an amazing call. Great call. Great call. Yeah, they're killing it. Both of them. I mean, Smoltz, the way he's predicting pitches, and it's Tony Romo-esque, but his job's a little tougher because Romo has a production meetings where he doesn't. So he's just kind of calling it by basically this feel the game pretty much, which is pretty awesome that Smoltz is able to do that. Anyway, so Game 3 is interesting because it's a matchup traditionally the Phillies would struggle in. You have McCullers Jr., a guy who throws like 93% breaking balls, big curves, big sliders, like big breaking stuff. Like rarely ever throws the fastball. There's a stat like he only threw one fastball to a left-handed hitter like the entire postseason going to the Bryce Harper bat, which is insane. Not a fastball guy at all. And usually the Phillies would struggle against him. But here's the difference. The Phillies, as we talked about last week with Who was our guest last week?
Ryan,
Yes. Ryan Rothstein. Talking about Ryan last week. The Phillies are giving you quality at bats, and they're making their at bats count. Even when they're out, they're quality at bats. And you saw it again play out in Game 3, where the Phillies changed their approach, and they were sitting on the breaking ball. They were sitting on it, leading up to the Bryce Harper at bat, which was so cool because you get the walk up music. You hear Dan Baker announcing him, comes to the plate, and what do you hear John Smoltz say immediately? I look for Bryce Harper to sit on a breaking ball. I would be surprised if he doesn't. He's a good breaking ball hitter. He likes to swing early. McCullers, if McCullers puts one over the plate, and the rest is history. Bryce is sitting breaking ball, keeps those hands back, and launches one into right field, which was, I mean, you texted me last night. Like, prime time moments, prime time spots, and your superstar does that. Like that, like really the game was over at that point for me. Like I knew that, like at that point it was over because that's just a killer, an absolute killer. Listen, I'm surprised at Dusty Baker that he's pitching the Bryce at all. I mean, I would have, if it was me, I know you got on first base, I walk him there. Because Nick Castellanos, he's struggling. Listen, he's made some great plays in the field, but he's struggling at the plate. What are you thinking there? Would you have walked him?
So if it's me, I'm not pitching to Bryce Harper the whole series.
Right.
So that's number one. Well, first off, let me go back to Game 1. Okay. Because a mistake I saw the Astros make in Game 1, they made the same mistake yesterday in Game 3. Do you know what that was? I'll break it down for you real simply. They took too long to pull the starter. Justin Verlander should have been pulled at 5-3. If they pull Justin Verlander, I think the Astros win Game 1. Because their bullpen is top shelf of top shelf.
Mm-hmm.
They have guys, they churn out 100-mile-an-hour pitchers out of the bullpen. They had a guy yesterday come out of the bullpen.
A mop-up guy throwing 100.
Who won 2 games in the World Series last year.
Yeah. He's on mop-up duty.
And so the fact that they waited too long to go to him, or to the bullpen, coming off, like I said, this is Game 1. You had the whole week off. The bullpen is well rested.
Mm-hmm.
Same mistake yesterday. Now, it turns out that it didn't matter because Ranger was just dealing. So it's less egregious yesterday.
Yeah.
But I think it should borderline on managerial malpractice that they did not pull him when it was 4-0.
Yeah, Dusty has not done a great job, I feel, managing the series. He made a lot of mistakes. And going back to Game 1, I think a psychological advantage for the Phillies also is if you look at those two bullpens, the Astros clearly have an advantage.
Oh.
But the Phillies went toe-to-toe with them. They didn't give up they gave up no runs after Nola. And you go into extra innings, you got Alvarado was dealing, Dominguez was dealing. You know, David Robinson struggled a little bit. I was very stressed out with him closing because I understand why you go to, you know, Dominguez and Alvarado early. I get the rhythm and I think like it was something I had to adjust to, but I think it was a smart move by Topper, bringing Alvarado to stop that momentum immediately. But then what do? You tax those guys so you can't use them. You don't have Dominguez to close, so you're going Robertson. It worked out. So whatever, we're good there. But that whole battle back and forth was interesting because the Astros have a clear advantage, but the Phillies still managed to hold it together.
Yeah. So I believe his name is Kyle Tucker, their right fielder.
Yeah.
Very punchable face.
Yes, and he made himself very hateable with the whole like I want to get this over in 4 games foolishness.
Yes, and then they go out and lose Game 1.
Right.
Now, it looked really bad for the Phillies that he said that and then go out in Game 1 he hits 2 home runs.
Yeah.
But those 2 home runs ended up not mattering because they didn't win the game.
Exactly.
And then they came here, and now they're down 2-1.
Yeah.
So they're looking, and I mean, I'm looking at this slightly through red sunglasses, but I can't see the Astros winning these next 2 games in a row. Can they win one of them? Absolutely. They're a great team. But I don't see them winning 2 games in a row.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
Let's go back to that in a second. I want to stay positive second because you've now triggering into what I'm feeling about today and tomorrow.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let me real quick get to game 3 before we get to.
Yeah, I want to stay. That's what I want to say. I want to stay at
Okay.
game 3 and then go into that.
Game 2.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to. We want to stay positive. So let's game 2. They just took that L. Like it just is. Like Astros are a good team. You lost in their
Although I
building.
think getting on the board and scoring 2 runs was important leading into game 3.
Yeah, you didn't want to get blanked.
Yes.
But like they are 4 World Series appearances in 6 years, 106 wins in their building. You did what you want to do. You took home field advantage away.
Well, let me ask you this question. Do you think because the Astros went, and I just thought about this as I'm sitting here talking through this games 2 and 3. I think it may have helped the Phillies. And I'm going to ask you if you think this. I think it may have helped the Phillies that they got to see 2 spin guys in a row. Because Valdez is a spin guy too. And then McCullers is a spin guy. So you got to see kind of, obviously it was a couple days off, but you got to see them back to back. So I wonder if that helped the approach of them sit back with their hands and look breaking ball, seeing that twice in a row.
I mean, I think it would be a huge mistake to think it didn't help or to think that it couldn't have helped. I think it absolutely played into it. Did you see all the videos on Twitter about how he was tipping his pitches?
Yes, I did. And that's probably what Harper was saying
to him.
Yeah, that's
because what's his? Do you know Justin Verlander's brother's name? I can't think of it right now. Ben Verlander.
Okay.
He works with Fox Sports.
Okay.
He used to be a minor league player. He never really panned out, so he went into the media. He's basic. Think of Pat McAfee, but baseball.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. He had a great video slowing down his different like he had side-by-side video in super slow-mo of his each different pitch he was throwing, and every single windup looked completely different. And he goes, this is exactly what the Phillies picked up on. And he goes, when you have this many camera angles on you all the time and somebody's sole job is to just watch you throw over and over and over, he picked it up. And then when he put them all side by side, he's like, this is the sinker. This is the curveball. This is the slider. This is the fastball. And each one, he had a completely different windup. And he goes, when you have a guy like Bryce Harper, and he can tell which windup you're doing, he already knows what you're going to throw, and it's just him waiting and deciding, oh, is it a ball or a strike?
Right.
And he goes, but then when you go in, he turns and does that to fellow all-star players, the Kyle Schwarbers, the Nick Castellanos, the Rhys Hoskins, and everybody in the dugout. Now they know what you're going to throw.
Yeah.
He's like, you have no chance.
And we got to give Rangers.
Hence me saying earlier why he should have been pulled from the game.
No, you're 1,000% correct. I like I said, I think Dusty's managed a horrible series.
I mean, this is Dusty Baker. Now, I mean, this is it. I'm gonna criticize him, but I'm gonna also insult him in the process, and I don't mean it to be as insulting as it is. But Dusty Baker is the Doc Rivers of baseball. Go back and look how many series he has blown. Now, no one wants to be compared to Doc Rivers because Doc Rivers is an a-hole and Dusty Baker is like one of the nicest people in the world.
Yeah. I would definitely be rooting for Dusty if they weren't playing the Phillies.
Yes. But go back and look how many series 3-1s he's blown. How many, massive leads. Did you know the last 3 teams to blow 5-0 leads in the playoffs were all Dusty Baker managed teams?
I did not, but wow.
Like this is Thompson and Baker. The difference between them, that may be the difference of what tips in the favor of the Phillies.
I want to give Rangers some love here. So we'll go back to game 1, bring Ranger Suarez in game 1. And
when I saw him run out of the bullpen,
that was a bold move. And that's not something typically you would see. That's thinking on your feet. And it's nice having a guy like Ranger Suarez who can literally do whatever you want him to do.
He doesn't care.
Close, fine. You want him set up, fine. You want him to start, fine. It doesn't matter. He's gonna take care of it. He's gonna get it done for you.
I get really mad when pitchers have to have a role.
Yeah.
Now I understand you're a starter or you're a reliever because of just endurance.
Yeah.
That part I understand.
Yeah.
But like, if you're in the bullpen, if I need you in the 5th inning, if I need you in the 9th inning, it shouldn't matter. And it drives me crazy that pitchers need to know that. Or, I can only Syndergaard can only come in to start an inning. He needs a clean inning.
Right.
But every time I sit here and I say, man, Topper, I wouldn't do that. Like I said yesterday when they pulled Suarez, I'm like, why? I'd let him go another inning.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Until they score, he stays in the game.
Me too. Well, the thing about Ranger that's so good about him, like he doesn't have overwhelming stuff. Right?
Accurate.
But his location, like he's changing eye levels, he's changing bat levels, he's working inside the plate.
Also helps that he's a lefty.
Like how hard is it to get guys to barrel him? It doesn't happen when he's on, you cannot barrel him. Like even the hits they had, they were just little dinks up the middle, little dinks over here. Nothing was rocketed off of him at all. Like and it's just incredible to watch him work when he's on. And he's been like, besides that first start in Atlanta, he's been their best pitcher. Wheeler had the one bad start, but I think Wheeler and Suarez have been their 2 best pitchers because now Nola you had 2 and 2. So I think
we'll get into him.
Yeah. So let's move on now to today because you mentioned how you don't see them winning 2, and you can see them winning 1 for a good team. I gotta be honest with you, as positive as I should feel, as good as I should feel, we're up 2-1. We just beat them 7-0. We had 5 home runs yesterday, 2 more games at the bank. I should be feeling great, right? But I don't. I'm worried. I'm a little stressed out about today and tomorrow, and here's why. So I was feeling really good about Aaron Nola. Really, really good about him. He had a bunch of really good starts in a row going back September. He had finally conquered September. He gave you that incredible start leading into the postseason. Great start against St. Louis. Great start against Atlanta. He has, a shaky outing against the Padres. Okay. Comes back, has another one against Houston. A little concerned about him today or tonight. Then tomorrow, they haven't really said yet what they're doing.
So no. It's right now as we sit right now.
Okay.
It's Noah Syndergaard is slated to start. Okay. Now,
if they lose,
no. I think if you win,
you go Wheeler.
You go Wheeler because if you're up 3-1, you do everything you can to not get back on that plane, and that is pitching Wheeler because Wheeler pitching tomorrow is on normal rest. He's on regular 5-day rest tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you to the rainout. He's on regular 5-day rest.
Yes, the rainout's real MVP here.
Yeah. The real MVP.
Start with Suarez instead of Syndergaard.
Yes. Now, if the Astros win and it's 2-2, I think you're going to see Syndergaard tomorrow.
Well, either way, if Wheeler goes tomorrow, if Wheeler doesn't go till Game 6, I'm stressed out about him because he's a fragile little being.
He did not look good.
His arm, that
he didn't look good. Like he looked
tired.
He looked in the first 3 series.
Mm-hmm. Robot.
I know they don't give out Cy Youngs for the playoffs, but if there was an NL playoff Cy Young, he would have won the NL playoff Cy Young.
He was an absolute robot.
But he didn't look good in Houston. Like he straight up didn't look good. Nola didn't look good. Wheeler didn't look good. Now the difference is that Wheeler, number one, I just think is a better pitcher than Nola. He's just better than Nola.
1,000%. Yeah.
So, and he has a much longer track record this postseason. Whereas Nola, we have 2-2.
Yeah.
We have 50% lights out, 50%
Right.
Wheeler only has that last start where we're like, nah, crap, this could not be good.
Right.
Wheeler could come out tomorrow if he pitches tomorrow. He could come out on Saturday. Is that Game 6 Saturday?
Yes.
Yes, Game
The
6.
update now is Friday.
Yes. So Game 6, he come out Game 6, he could be hitting 97, 98 again. We don't know. But what I'm more concerned about is the 2-2 with Nola tonight. Wheeler, I mean, it was concerning, but I'm more likely to give him the benefit of the doubt for what I've seen through this playoff series than I will with Aaron Nola.
Yeah. Well, I think that's fair. Yeah, it's I mean, this is a really important game for them tonight because, like, you can put the stranglehold in the series, and you don't, like, after something like that, like, the Astros, you're at Citizens Bank Park, the red towels, and
Well, so
everyone's freaking
hold.
out.
I got pause it right there because I want to just make this statement right now. If the Phillies win the World Series, okay, okay, and especially if they win it in 5, I think the biggest, well, I shouldn't say biggest, one of the top storylines needs to be the home field advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it already is.
No, I mean when this goes down in the history books,
Yeah,
it needs to be remembered the home field advantage that the Phillies had because they will have gone undefeated through the playoffs at home, underdogs in every series.
yeah. People are nationally are talking about it, and going into yesterday.
Even though that
Okay,
they are, I still don't think it's talked about enough.
this
Like
is
I don't
not.
think that it can possibly be underrated enough
This is
or
not.
overstated enough. I meant to say.
This is not yesterday's statistics. This is going into yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, so they were 5-0 at the bank going yesterday, averaging 7 runs a game.
Yep.
A batting average of 296.
Ooh.
2.4 home runs per game, and batting a whopping, ready for this, 351 with running in scoring position at the bank.
How many?
351 running scoring position.
Ooh.
351. Absolutely unbelievable. The advantage of CBP, and it's cool nationally. People are just blown away by what's been happening because you forget, in the late 2000s, they had that run, and of course it was loud there, but it's been 13 years. I'm sorry, it's been 11 years.
14.
11 years since there's been a home
playoff
games there. So people forget, and I still, and the wildest thing for me is I think the loudest moment happened in that Braves series. I think Game 3 against the Braves, it hasn't gotten louder than that. It's been really, really loud still, but that Reese home run and that day, I don't ever remember seeing many venues that loud. And it's the ultimate advantage, and they're taking advantage of it, which is awesome. And they're having fun. It's really, really cool. They're having fun. And again, going back to what we said before, it's awesome that, like, these guys that have been here and heard the stories and heard all the stories from the late 2000s teams of how Citizens Bank Park can be and what it sounds like and the vibes, they now get to see it for themselves.
Well, Cole
And really
Hamels,
maybe even bigger. I think it's actually, I can make an argument it's louder now than it was at any point during those runs.
so Cole Hamels did an interview yesterday,
Okay.
and they asked him,
My guy Hollywood Hamels.
what's that?
My guy Hollywood Hamels.
Oh, he was in
Oh,
the.
my God.
Did you see the all the Phillies in the box?
Yeah.
Chase and Ryan and Jimmy and Jason
love
and
it. I love it.
Victorino and Chooch.
Chooch in the house.
Yo, listen, Chooch looks. What did they say about the about the locks? Jada wasn't drunk.
He wasn't drunk. Chief Coach was cock diesel.
Yeah. Carlos Ruiz looks cock diesel. You see him yesterday?
No, I didn't.
Woo!
Chooch been putting in the weights.
Listen, I mean,
Chooch.
they always said that the two toughest people on that Phillies team were Chooch and Shane Victorino. Like you wouldn't want to fight either one of those
I
two
believe
guys. Man, I would if Chooch looked at me the wrong way, he could have my wallet if he wanted it.
Hawaii is like people think of Hawaii, think of like aloha in the grass skirts. There's a lot. Hawaii has a tough culture, man. That's that Samoan culture that comes out of Hawaii, and there's some really really tough dudes out of there.
And Chooch, he's from Panama, so
Yeah.
he's just
He's
does
not playing.
no he's no games, or he doesn't even know how to play games.
No,
but
games.
So they asked him, they're like, do you have a relationship with Aaron Nola? Like, because he's the only player that you guys. He goes, we didn't play on the same roster, but he's like, while he was in the minors, he's like, we were at spring training together. He's like, we did have 2 spring trainings together while Aaron was in the minors before I got traded.
Yeah.
He goes, he used to come up to me and say, what's it like? What's it like? What's it like? And he goes, I used to tell him, I can't describe it. Like, I can't put it into words what it's like to take the ball and start a World Series game at home in Philadelphia. He's like, I can't put that into words, but he's like, now he gets to experience that. And he goes, all those years, all ago, he's like, all those days, all those hours spent in locker room, him asking, what it was like to, sold out crowd every night for 3 straight years. Yeah. And he's only played in front of like 10 sold out crowds in his whole 6-year career, whatever it was. He goes, now he gets to experience it. He goes, I promise you, he's like, every player on this team will be a different beast moving forward.
1,000%. And the bank has I can make an argument, it's kind of ruined other crowds because if
sorry.
Think about it this way.
Sorry.
If the Phillies were not in the playoffs, would people be complaining about San Diego or Houston or any of these other cities? No. Like, they were loud. They were into it. It's just different here. It's different. And now that we're back in and we're back a part of it again, you're seeing how different it is in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It's just different here.
Yeah.
Our loud is different than your loud.
Yep.
You think we're being loud, we're actually being loud.
Yes. Now, before we shift topics, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire.
Okay.
And I know you're nervous, but I'm going to make you give me a prediction.
Oh, Lord. I think it's going back to Houston.
Because I don't not only want tonight's prediction, we will not be on again until this series is over. So I both want your gate prediction tonight and your series prediction.
Phillies in 7.
How about tonight?
I'm not liking tonight. I want to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I can't trust Nola after what I saw. I can't. And it's gonna be a warm night, unseasonably warm at the bank tonight. We have been on a warm spell.
Hitting season.
Game time temperature of like 68, 67, 68 degrees.
I don't think it's gonna be that warm down.
We're in 70s today.
Yeah, but you're talking about 8:00 when the sun's down. You know what I mean?
Let me see what's going on here.
I got the app fired up right now. It says 56 degrees at 8 p.m.
Okay. All right. So about 60 degrees.
We're looking
warm this time of year.
By 10 o'clock, we're looking at 50.
Okay. Yeah, well, that ball might be flying out a little bit. And I just Noah's a guy that can get Noah. The thing about Noah is when he goes, he goes.
Yes.
He implodes fantastically.
They need to have. Oh, we saw your man Gibson.
Yeah, Gibby. You need to make an appearance.
No, I was going to say Topper needs to have a short leash on Nola. Like, if it starts going downhill fast, don't let it escalate.
Yeah, you got to watch with Nola's opposite of Wheeler. Wheeler, if he gets out of the first inning unscathed, it's going to be a long night for the other team.
Yeah.
Nola's usually pretty good those first couple innings. It's those 4, 5, 6s you got to watch him. Yeah. You got to watch him in those innings. That's when things get weird real quickly.
So if I'm going to force you to give a prediction, I'm going to do the same thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 2 different ones, 2 different scenarios.
Okay.
If you ask me to pick what it's going to be tonight, I think the Phillies lose. But I think the Phillies will win tomorrow, and I think they will go back, and I think they will win Game 6 in Houston. So my prediction is Phillies lose tonight, but the Phillies win it in 6. However, if they win tonight, Marcus, I don't see them going back to Houston.
I think that's fair.
If they win tonight, I think it's 4-1.
Yeah,
But
I would agree with that.
if you're asking me to actually pick it, I think it's 2-2, but they win it 4-2.
If they win tonight, it's no way in the world they're going back to Houston. The bank won't let them go back. There's no way in the world. Like, I put that on the crowd. The crowd will not allow them to lose Game 5. It's not happening. It's just not going to happen.
Yes, if they win tonight, I don't see them doing a Saturday parade, do you?
Election Day.
Well, no, but I'm saying, what if they win it tomorrow? Like, you're not going to
Election
wait.
Day.
They're not going to do it on. They're not
It's
going
already
to.
been planned. November 8th.
Is the plan? Where has this been posted at?
I've seen it all. I've seen it on social media and like news sites. That's going to be November 8th.
All right, I have not, but
which is going to be awesome because people are going to be off work. I think that's probably why they're doing it that way. And like if you're waiting, it's not bad waiting. You're only waiting. So if it's done Thursday, it's just 4 days. When was the Eagles parade? Eagles parade was what, that Thursday?
Yeah, it was Thursday. Yep.
Yeah, so it's about 4 or 5 days. So it's the same thing. About.
Oh, here it is. I just found an article. There. Let's see. When is the parade? To get an idea. Okay. I hate when articles put like a giant picture between like every other paragraph. I have to like scroll all the way.
Keep going down.
Yeah, can you just give me? According to this site, it says Monday would be the parade.
So that's the 7th?
Yes.
Oh, I guess they may have moved it. I said last year, but either Monday or Tuesday, I guess.
Because I was surprised that they even announced it. I figured they would wait. Usually, what they do is they wait until there's a 3-1 lead, and then they say, "Okay, it's going to be one of these days."
Well, you're not. So if it goes 7, they can't go Monday, because then if it goes 7,
well, the thing is, if it goes
Sunday,
you won't do it Tuesday either because you'll be traveling on Monday.
Yeah, right. So
it would have to be
figure that out. But
yeah.
Let's shift gear. We gave the Phillies enough love. Looking forward to tonight's game, 8:03. Aaron Nola on the hill for the Phils.
I really want to watch this jersey, Marcus. I haven't watched it since the playoffs started.
You can't now.
I can't, but I want to.
Going to the Eagles. I mean, I just pose a question right off the bat. Just
say it. Say it.
Easy.
Say it.
Can it be this easy? It's unbelievable. And I want people to not take for granted what you are watching with this football team. It doesn't matter that the Pittsburgh Steelers are not that good. That doesn't matter. It is not normal to just be walking on a field and curb stomping teams week in and week out. That's not normal. This team has played 7 football games, and they have yet to trail in the second half of a game. That is absolutely absurd. Doesn't matter who you're playing. That is absurd. At some point, there's supposed to be that letdown, that weak moment, and they're just jumping.
When?
They're jumping all over teams. One thing I will say that they're doing a really great job of offensively is if you watch them, they stay out of 3rd and long. They stay away from you. How often do you see this team in 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11? It's usually 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 2, where the playbook is just wide open and you can exploit everything, and everything is an option. What that tells you is they're doing an amazing job winning on 1st and 2nd down. They're winning constantly. AJ Brown, oh my God. I want to go right to that first touchdown catch because that's a throw as a quarterback you're not really supposed to make. But when you have someone as talented and that trust, where a guy you can just trust to make a play, you throw the ball up and see what happens. That's what Jalen Hurts did. And again, it's a progression in him where he's trusting his guys to make plays. It's a throw you don't typically make, but he says, I got AJ Brown. Let's see what happens. And this ball goes in between two defenders. Looks like it'd be a short pick. Brown just wedges away in there and just snatches it out of the air. Unbelievable play. Absolutely unbelievable play. You know, I don't want people to take for granted what you were seeing. Like, literally in the second quarter, third quarter, beginning of the third quarter, I had to run an errand. I ran out to CVS. I have CVS right down the street. Let me go to CVS real quick. I'll listen to give him the radio. I never would have done that. I'd be sitting there sweating, biting my nails. Usually, I'm not moving from this couch, but I'm so comfortable in this and what's happening. I don't need to stress. There's no stress. There's absolutely no stress watching this team at all. You're just watching and just sitting back and just, well, okay. So 21-3. All right. 30-10. Okay. 35-13. Fine. Okay. Another week of this. That's pretty much what you're doing when you watch this team. It's very and this team, okay, special teams, yes, that's the area they can improve. However, from top to bottom, there's no real weaknesses. It's not there's nothing really you can exploit. Oh, and by the way, how about we go out and get Robert Quinn also and improve our defensive line? Let's go out there and do that and make them even more terrifying than they already are. And the thing that's awesome about the style they're playing is they get out these huge leads. So what does that mean? The defensive line gets to feast. They get to pin their ears back, as they say, and just go after the quarterback. And that's why they're creating so many turnovers, because they're making quarterbacks turn into one-dimensional. They're taking that running game completely away. Taking it away. No, you're not going to run the ball because you're going to have to throw the ball. So you're down by 2 touchdowns. So for me, I just don't want people to take for granted what you are watching. This is masterful what they're doing. And it doesn't matter the level of the competitions. When you are this dominant, throw all of that out of the window. Because at the end of the day, even the bad teams have NFL players on them. And at some point, you're going to run into a team, whatever, a Jacksonville, whatever you want to say, a bad team you can throw out there. They're still going to play hard and try to beat you and compete. The Eagles they're snatching souls. They are snatching souls right in front of our eyes. It's absolutely remarkable to watch. It's fun. It's there's no stress. I'm just sitting back on my couch, relaxing. Let's see what's going on Instagram. What's trending on Twitter right now? Let me run out to CVS and go get some lotion. This is kind of where my head's going. I'm not even fully in because I'm my mind can wander. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't like that tomorrow I'm going to have to split my viewing. But I have multiple TVs for a reason.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, it's to the point now that I expect this.
Mm-hmm.
And that scares me because this is a sport where everybody has talent.
Yeah.
And the margins, but we look at the 7-0 Eagles and who has the worst record in football? I don't know. Let's just say the Bears. Okay. They're probably the worst team. I don't know if they actually have the worst record, but let's just say the Bears.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just be honest. The real margin of actual talent between a player from the Bears and the Eagles is just razor thin. Mm-hmm. But when you have that at every single position, the gap widens. I mean, everybody in the NFL's got talent. Make no mistake about it. Everybody in pro baseball has talent. We sit there and we go, oh, that guy sucks. No, believe me, that guy will show up to your house and beat you in whatever sport you want to play. It does not matter.
Right.
But when you have that compounded at every single position and your backups have that, I mean, if we took the Eagles offensive line unit, there would be multiple guys, if not every one of them, that's starting on another team. Mm-hmm. And some teams may take it as a unit to start. It shouldn't be this easy.
Right.
They're running through teams.
Yeah.
Eagles first half -6.5 last week. I bet that. I loaded up on it. At no doubt point in time was it in jeopardy.
Right.
I mean, while you were starting to dive into the Eagles, I pulled up the line for that this week. Could you believe that the Eagles are first half is -7? -7 for the Eagles in the first half. It feels like free money.
Right. Yeah.
And we're not even talking about the fact that the betting odds for them to lose their first game is week 14.
How often do you see a first team offense pulled out with 8 minutes to go in a professional game? Like this isn't like
No,
Central
not
Bucks
even that.
West.
It was 12 minutes.
This isn't like CB West, like high school football. Like this is stuff like you don't.
It's not
you don't
supposed to
see.
like it's not supposed to happen. Like the
No.
league is built so that this doesn't happen,
Right.
and it is.
Yeah.
And I don't think it can be possibly stated enough that them being able to pull out of the starters out of that game is great for Thursday.
Right.
The fact that you can be able to pull your starters injury. Now we lost the big dog, Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
My bet on him to win Rookie of the Year is probably shot now. But
Yeah, I don't like high ankle sprains on big fellers.
no, they said 4 to 6 weeks. If I'm being honest, we'll see him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, and just because it's not you or me walking around with that, Marcus. If I had that, they'd be like, all right, he's down 2 to 3 weeks. He's a big boy.
Right.
It sucks, but really, they weren't really using him much anyway. At least not as much as we wanted him to. Now, when he was on the field, he was killing it.
Yeah.
But Howie has built a defensive line that when one guy goes down, the next guy comes up.
Right.
And I think that they will be able to hold it down until he comes back, because as a run stuffer, he was really starting to come on. It's unfortunate he got hurt. But, I mean, they're not going to lose this week to Houston.
No.
I mean, we're going to run the weekly schedule for the NFL shortly, but I want to just run the Eagles schedule real quick.
First 8-0 in franchise history, by the way.
Yes. Are they going to lose next week to Taylor Heineke at home on Monday night?
No.
Are they going to lose to Elringer or whoever it is, the Colts quarterback now?
No.
Now, Aaron Rodgers coming to the Eagles Thanksgiving weekend. Now, I understand the Packers are falling apart.
That receiver core is really it's
terrible.
It's not.
If you have the Packers on your power rankings this week, I will end this show.
Yeah.
Then and there, if I hear their name. I will do the same thing if I see them appearing on anybody else's power rankings this week. But at the end of the day, they still have Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
And that man still terrifies me. So I cannot guarantee that is a win right now yet because of number 12. Now, we don't root for injuries around here. You never do that. If Rodgers doesn't play in that game, they're going to sail through that game too. You have the Titans. Okay, Titans are a well-coached team. But you think they're going to come here and beat them?
I mean, the Titans have a good formula to slow the Eagles down.
They do.
Keeping them off the field with Derrick Henry and having Henry just run wild and just not give the Eagles the ball. That's the formula.
But we have linebackers now.
That'll be a tough game.
That'll be a tough game. That'll be a tough game.
Yeah.
But then you finally get your first crack at the Giants.
Yep. Who I think by that point will have a lot more losses.
I hope so.
They're not very good.
No.
They're just not. I mean,
they're a well-coached team.
Yep.
But they don't have talent.
Right.
They're playing above their heads.
I would agree with that.
They're not going to lose to the Bears. The Bears has had a fire sale.
Absolutely not.
Now we're talking a little bit of an issue. Christmas Eve, 4:25 in Dallas.
That's going to be tough.
Okay. You shouldn't. And if they go in there and they steamroll it, that should stamp home field advantage.
Yes.
Following that, you have the Saints. I would hope that you want to just beat the Saints to improve your draft pick with them.
Correct.
And then End the year, you have at home against the Giants. I do not foresee anyone playing in this game except if A, they're going for 17-0, which I think that's important to do, or B, they're for whatever reason they don't have home field locked up yet.
Yes.
But if they have a loss and home field locked up, no one will play in that game, and I will be very mad. Do you know why I'll be mad, Marcus? I'll tell you why I'll be mad. Because I have a huge bet on them to win every division game.
No.
Yeah.
Well, here's hoping.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Listen, I have bigger bets on them to do. If that's the bet that I lose and it's because they rested everybody, believe me, do not feel bad for me. I have had a great season. But I will still be bitter because it's always the tickets that you almost get.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The almost ones are always the worst.
Like, the almost ones even annoy me more than the ones you do get. Almost.
Right.
Almost.
Yeah. I mean, the 1 point losses are always the ones you think about over the.
Oh, I texted you last week. I was like, I'm so glad basketball season's back because now I can get ready to be losing massive parlays by 1 3-pointer.
I'm ready to be hurt again.
I'm ready for a guy that averages 5 threes to only hit 2. I'm so ready for it.
Right. Yeah. So it's just fun, man. It really is. It's a joy watching this team play football. The command of the offense that's Nick Sirianni and Sean Steichen have come up with for Jalen Hurts and the rest of the skill players.
We joked about Jonathan Gannon being a head coaching candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can joke about it anymore now.
No, not at all.
Either one of them. I think there's a very realistic possibility that they lose one, if not both, coordinators after this season.
I would agree. Yes, I would agree.
But
all right, so let's get into the power rankings.
I was just about to say, is it Bradham power ranking time?
It's power ranking time.
All right, let me get the music ready. You, as usual, you will relay your first relay last week's power ranking, and then you will give this week's. And while you are doing that, I'm going to pull up some of the best and brightest people out there that make power rankings, and we can compare how incorrect they are to yours.
All right, so last week we had the Seahawks at 10, the Bengals at 9, Titans at 8, Jets at 7, Cowboys at 6, Giants at 5, Vikings at 4, Bills 3, Chiefs 2, Eagles 1. So I want to say first before I get into this week, the Jets are out this week, and the reason why they're out is because they're going to be free falling. I mean, they're a team. Really, it's unfortunate. I think the Brees Hall thing is just going to kill them. They barely managed to score 10 points against the Patriots. Zach Wilson's not in a place where he's ready to carry a squad yet. And, young quarterbacks, their best friend is a good running game.
Do you still have faith in him?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he will be a superstar at some point.
Do you think that, like Herbert, he needs a different coach?
Good question.
I mean, you can say. You don't have to. You can say the jury's still out.
I'm gonna say maybe because
I feel like
I like Sal. I mean, he gets him to play hard, but he's a defensive guy.
I feel like if Justin Herbert had I understand I'm about to say the greatest offensive mind basically ever, but if he had imagine if Justin Herbert had Andy Reid.
Right.
Imagine if Zach Wilson had Andy Reid.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I was just curious. I know that was your guy. I just didn't know if you still are.
It might be that. It might be that, and like that, like the jury, I guess, is still out on that.
Okay.
So we'll see. All right, going into this week, I think
to
me, besides the Eagles, to me the scariest team in the NFC, the scariest team, not the best, the scariest team to me is San Francisco 49ers.
Want to buy this week.
And they start at 10. I think that they're going to be the biggest challenge for the Eagles in the playoffs. I actually think you're going to get a Niners-Eagles championship game. The Niners are built really, they're built for December and January. They really are. The way they can run the ball now, picking up Tristan McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel didn't even play Sunday, and they still whooped up on the Rams, who are an absolute mess. But the Niners are, to me, the scariest team in the NFC for the Eagles. I have them at 10. Re-entering my Bradham power ranking is the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, like Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, Jalen Hurts get a lot of love, but Tua actually has the best QBR in the league. Tua is out here balling. Every time he plays, the Dolphins win. Every time he plays, they win. And the offense looks really good. They have weapons upon weapons. So they're back in at 9. It'll be interesting to see. But for me, when it comes to Tua, it's kind of similar to Lamar, where Tua is a guy, I don't know, like the Armstrong thing, I think we could put that to bed as far as him getting the ball down the field. However, big however, can you do that in Buffalo in January? Like when it gets cold, that ball gets firm. Is that something you're going to be able to do? Or is your arm strong enough to cut through those winds and get that ball down the field in January?
I mean, not just Buffalo. Can he do it in Kansas City?
Right.
Can he do it in New England?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at like potential AFC. Go to Baltimore. Can you do that in Cincinnati? Can you do that in Cleveland?
Right. And they have they don't really have a shot. They're 5-3. They don't really have a shot at home field throughout. I think that's really going to hurt them in the playoffs. I personally, I need to see that. I need to see him get that ball down the field in January in the colder temperatures. So we'll see. Number 8, the New York Giants fall a little bit this week. I expect them to lead the power rankings very shortly. I'm surprised they've been here this long. As you said earlier, you hit a nail on the head. Very well coached team, not a very talented roster, and they're running on fumes. They're on borrowed time. I never really viewed them as an actual real threat to do anything this year. I mean, they're 6-2. That's wild to think about. Can they be a wild card? Absolutely. They're 6-2. However, they're not a team I feel is a threat is going to do anything after that, and not at all. But another team that's a surprise story we talked about last week, moving up, the Seattle Seahawks, who continue to win football games. Again, it's all on Geno Smith. He's playing incredible football. You can tell how much they actually hated Russell Wilson. Tyler Lockett, they did the press conference. He took another shot at Russell Wilson the week, saying how crazy it is, what happens when you actually play together and you put the team in front of individual stats. That was an obvious shot at Russell Wilson.
I believe the exact quote is, "Isn't it crazy what you can accomplish when nobody cares who gets the credit?"
There you go. That's it. There you go, right there. So
obvious shot at Russ, by the way.
Yeah, and Geno Smith. Listen, did I see this coming? No. But if you think about his career, he's been a backup to some really good quarterbacks, and he's been around a lot of really good quarterbacks. So you can't help but, I guess, learn from that and learn from those situations. And he obviously has, because he's playing really good football. And another thing on top of that is their defense, which was terrible the first couple of seasons, has improved drastically. So they're catching up to the offense. So Seattle's a team that keeps getting better each week. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Number 6, the team we just talked about coming into the link in a couple weeks, Tennessee Titans, who continue to win football games. Listen, that their formula for winning football games is always there. That play action game of Derrick Henry.
I mean, listen, the way that Tennessee plays, that style of play works now. It worked 100 years ago.
Yep.
It will work in 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually, is this their first appearance on the Bradham Top 5 or the Bradham Top 10 power rankings?
No, they were here last week. There were 8 last week.
Oh, was last week their first appearance?
I think last week was their first time.
I was gonna say I haven't heard the Titans come out of your mouth too often.
Yeah, but you gotta take them seriously. Number 5, the Dallas Cowboys, putting up almost 50. And listen, I don't want to help out the Cowboys because, obviously it's the Cowboys, but bro, start Tony Pollard. Stop playing with people. Start Tony Pollard. Here's what you do. It's really simple. Tony Pollard's your primary back. Short yard situations, fourth quarter, goal line situations. Zeke. That's what it is. Tony Pollard is the more explosive back. Is not even close. It's not for debate. There's no debate here. He's better. Zeke has a lot of miles in that frame. He's been hit a lot. Of course, at some point, he's going to lose a little bit of explosion. Doesn't mean he's not valuable. Doesn't mean he's not helpful for the team. He still is, but he's not the number one back on his team. Tony Pollard scored 3 touchdowns on Sunday. Stop it.
Can I guess who I think is number 4?
Sure.
Is it Minnesota?
Of course. The Minnesota Vikings, number 4. I actually had them. If we would have done the around the board last week, I had them losing to Arizona. I thought Arizona would upset them.
Really? No, I was all over them.
They continue to roll, continue to score points, continue to look really, really good. I think the Final Four, you'll probably get a combination of Eagles, Vikings, Niners, insert 4th team. We'll see what happens there, but the Vikings look good. They're playing really, really good football.
It'll probably be the Cowboys. If I'm depending on how the bracket shakes out,
Could be.
because you're probably going to get at least 2, if not 3, NFC East teams in the playoffs this year.
Yes. Yeah.
So I want to be surprised. I don't foresee the Giants though making it to the second round if they make it.
No, neither do I. And the top 3 are the same 3 teams, but just a little juggled. Where the Chiefs go to 3, they were off this week. Now I believe you can't lose your number 1 spot if you're off. But you didn't play. I'm going to keep you in the top 3, but I drop you down a spot because you didn't play. 2 of the Bills, taking care of business at home against the Packers, making it look, even though it was a 10-point game, it felt like it was a 50-point game. That game never felt close.
It was never close.
It never felt competitive at any point in time. And then number 1, yes, no surprise there, you're 7-0 Philadelphia Eagles.
Very nice. I just have a couple questions about your list. I don't really I think this might be the first list that you have where I don't really have any pushback on the teams. I just have a couple of questions about the list itself.
Okay.
So number 1, you have at the 49ers in 10th.
Yes.
So since they're on a bye this week, can we guarantee that they're on the list next week? Maybe not at 10, or can you be bumped off the list for a bye?
That's a great question. That's good. That's a good question because they're sitting at 10.
They're sitting at 10 and they're on a bye this week.
I mean, it's gonna be hard to take them off because they, like I said, I believe they're the scariest team in the NFC, and I believe they're trending upwards. So I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna say no, but I do reserve the right to change my mind.
Okay.
Right now, I say they'll be there.
Okay. My next question is why I think the Cowboys should be over the Vikings. What's the splitting point that puts the Vikings over the Cowboys?
I think the Vikings have been.
I think they both deserve to be on there. I think the
Vikings have been extremely consistent throughout the year. Where I feel the Cowboys, even though they've won games, it's been a roller coaster. Now they dominated the Bears obviously on Sunday.
Yeah, but the Bears suck.
I think the Arizona Cardinals are a better team than the Bears, so I give the Vikings a slight edge of competition and who they actually beat. Okay. That's why I give them a little bit of an edge. But honestly, those 2 teams to me are neck and neck. It's very close. I think the Cowboys have definitely widened the gap. Because if you remember, the Vikings kind of been hovering in that top 5 for me the entire season, and the Cowboys were in that 8 to 6 range. But now you see I bumped the Cowboys to 5 because I think the Cowboys have solidified themselves as a top 5 right now.
And then the third thing is just a point. It has nothing to do with your list, but I have it was Minnesota against Arizona last week, I believe.
Yeah.
And you said you would have went with Arizona instead of Minnesota.
Yeah.
I strongly disagree. Arizona sucks. Kyler Murray is not a good quarterback, and the Arizona franchise is tanked since they're tied to him.
I was more looking at the spot. I don't think Arizona's great. I was just looking at the spot of,
Doesn't
I
matter.
thought maybe it would be time for an oopsies.
Not against Kyler. Kyler is not a good quarterback.
Okay.
So let's get into so that's the only points I had about yours. Let's get into some other ones. Let's start with CBS. He got banned for 2 weeks for having bad opinions. Let's see if he's over those bad opinions. Number 10, matching you, they have the 49ers. Number 9, Seattle. Number 8, Baltimore. Number 7, Miami. Number 6, Tennessee. And then his top 5 are all the same order as you.
So Baltimore to me is an interesting one. And
Listen,
Baltimore is
now-
if I
hey,
did a top 12, top 13, Baltimore would be in there. But it's for me the way they've lost games.
I
that-
expect them
why
to.
they're not on my list.
I expect them to get back into your top 10 after the trades that they made.
I would agree. I think they'll definitely. I love that for them.
Yeah, they made good
The
acquisitions.
Smith acquisition, the linebacker acquisition, was huge for them. I think he's right in the mold of those Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
The Terrell Suggs, the Ray Lewises.
Yep.
They needed that. That was important.
Yep, I
So,
agree. And
yeah.
they can pair him with Patrick Queen, and now they have their inside linebackers for the future.
Yep.
So what was your take on that list?
Solid. I mean, no real
Is he
complaint.
is he invited back to the party?
Yes, that
Okay.
is much better. It's
He-
just like my thing is just the laziness of the Packers Bucks thing. Like they should have been like I had them off the list like almost a month ago, and like
No, you're absolutely right.
everyone should have.
Let's dive into NFL Network. Dan Hanzus, number 10, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 9,
Even after this past week, what?
Yeah, I'm just reading the list. Seattle Seahawks, number 9.
They just got their pants pulled down on national television.
Yep. Number 8.
Browns.
Number 8, Tennessee. Number
Number
7. What was that?
Who was number 9?
Number 9 was Seattle.
Okay.
Number 8, Tennessee. Number 7, Minnesota. Number 6, Baltimore.
Whoa.
Number 5, San Francisco. Number 4, Dallas. Number 3, Chiefs. Number 2, Eagles. Number 1, Buffalo.
Yeah, this is. I mean, the teams. I don't have a problem with the teams. The order's a little bit off. I think Baltimore. I'm not mad at Baltimore being on his list. I think they're a
Well,
little.
did he not just hit 8 or 9 out of your teams?
Yeah.
So what are the teams? So if Baltimore's in, who has been out for then that you had in there? Giants.
The Giants. He doesn't have the Giants on his list.
So have the first 2 pretty much been in your list, just different order besides that?
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't have Baltimore at 6. I think Minnesota at 7 is a little disrespectful to them.
Oh, wait, you didn't have the Bengals on your list either, did you?
No.
Who? Okay.
No. And the Bengals, I don't know I don't know the rationale with the Bengals being.
I do not know that either.
They've been wildly inconsistent this year, and again, it's got destroyed on Monday Night Football against the Browns. So
Oh, Dolphins. That was the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. We're on Bleacher Report. Ready?
okay,
Okay. Number 10, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No, I'm kidding.
I was about to just turn off my Wi-Fi.
No, I'm kidding. Number 10, Seattle Seahawks.
Okay,
Number 9, New York Giants.
okay,
Number 8, San Francisco 49ers. Number 7, Titans. Number 6, Baltimore. What I think a lot of people are
I
doing.
was with them to the Baltimore pick.
I was gonna say what I think a lot of people are doing are factoring in their trades already.
Yeah, but I mean, I think
Because-
you're right. but you
Because
can't-
all of these power rankings came out this morning.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I don't think that's a true power ranking.
Number 5, Dallas.
Okay,
And the top 4 you have are all in the same order.
okay.
So you're
Yeah,
not.
I mean, I think Baltimore to me is just. I mean, again, they can be on your list. I think they're a little too high. Everything else up to that point and going, but that's the only thing I have pushback on. I think it's a pretty solid list, actually.
All right, let's get over then to Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
Oh man, Marcus, you know the guy that put this together. This power ranking belongs to your guy.
Okay.
This is Ed Kratz.
Oh, Ed Kratz power ranking.
Ed Kratz power rankings with
Oh,
Sports
man,
Illustrated.
I don't have to blow up my guy.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Number 10, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 9, Tennessee Titans. Number 8, San Francisco 49ers. Number 7, Seattle Seahawks. Number 6, Minnesota Vikings. Number 5, Dallas Cowboys. Number 4, Baltimore Ravens. Number 3, Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2, Philadelphia Eagles. And number 1, Buffalo Bills.
I don't know how you can have in a 7-win team, 7-0 team over a team with 2 losses.
His rationale before the Baltimore is their lack of weapons on offense is concerning, but the Roquan Smith trade will help quite a bit on the other side of the ball.
Agreed.
So, and then we got one more, final one.
Since Cincinnati, I don't understand the Cincinnati thing.
I don't know either.
That's from today. Is that today's power rankings?
This is going. Yeah, this is. I mean, yeah, he talks about the Roquan Smith trade. So yeah, they're today.
Yeah, I'm confused by that. But anyway.
Last one, we will have Yahoo Sports.
Okay.
Hey, let's. This one is stupid articles. Where they put the pictures in the middle. All right. Let's go number 10, Baltimore Ravens. Now I feel like you have less pushback on that.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Number 9, Minnesota Vikings. Number 8, Seattle Seahawks. Okay. Oh wow. Hold on. Let me just. Oh wow. All right. I know you're not going to like this, but just let me get through the list. Let me just run off all 7 of these, and we'll get your comments at the end. Okay.
Okay.
Number 7, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 6, Los Angeles Chargers. Number 5, Dallas Cowboys. Number 4, Kansas City Chiefs. Number 3, 49ers. Number 2, Bills. Number 1, Eagles.
The Chargers?
At number 6.
I mean, what is there to say? I mean, there's nothing to say.
No.
No
yeah. So real quick before we get out of here, we got I got a quick top 5, and we got 3 birthdays today.
Okay.
David Schwimmer.
Hey, my favorite character of Friends.
Nelly. Today's Nelly's birthday.
Okay, Cornell Hayes.
Yes. And there who was the third one? Hold on, let me pull it back up. I had a third one. I forget who it is. It is guy we've been talking about his team all day, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Porn star Jimmy.
Jimmy G.
How's he gonna celebrate?
Jimmy G. Well, he's got the bye week. And, he's probably out.
He's gonna be doing his thing.
So he's probably out gallivanting on a cruise ship with a bunch of models.
Yeah, not mad at it.
No, good for him. And then we got a top 5, Marcus. Hopefully you don't kill me because this is in the music category.
Okay.
But giving as it's his birthday, I got to do the top 5 Nelly songs.
Fair.
I feel like it only makes sense. Isn't that not correct?
Yes, you gotta do that. Mandatory.
So I hope that we don't have too much disagreement with what number 1 is. So obviously, as usual, I will go 5-1.
Okay.
With number 5 being Air Force Ones.
Okay.
Number 4, Country Grammar. Okay. Number 3, Hot in Here. Number 2, Ride With Me. And number 1, I mean, I don't have the statistics up for this song specifically, but I'm sure it's got to be one of the most decorated songs in hip hop history. Dilemma with Kelly Rowland.
Okay. First of all, I love the fact that you did not put Hot in Here number 1.
No. I like the song.
I'm going to tell you.
It deserves number 3.
Dilemma deserves to be on the list. Honorable mention, EI.
That was I was
EI
tough.
is strong.
It was tough to keep that one.
EI is strong. So is
It was tough to keep that off the list. It was tough to keep what's the one number 1 off the
Flappy
list.
Wings.
Flappy, that was also tough to keep. Like
Flappy Wings was heavy in the club.
Mm-hmm.
EI heavy, but I see for me, I alternate. I switch Dilemma and Ride with Me because Dilemma, as great a song it is, it's a great song, all time classic record. Ride With Me in the club is just a different. You see it now. It's funny because Bryce Harper has like 3 different walk-up signs, but one of the walk-up songs is Ride With Me. You see what happens when that comes on, his last play appearance. Now staying full. You're hearing people singing along, and it's one of the greatest. Ride With Me is one of the greatest sing-along hip hop songs in hip hop history.
I agree. I just, with how decorated I know Dilemma is.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, that's like being like, oh, I'm not going to put, Lose Yourself as Eminem's #1 song. Like, I mean, with how
if we're going chart wise, Dilemma is definitely Dilemma has to be his highest charting single.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe Hot in Here, either Hot in Here or Dilemma.
I think it has to be Dilemma. And I honestly, I mean, I did not look this up, so I don't want you to take this as a lock.
Yeah.
I don't even think it would be close.
I think it'd be close. I mean, Hot in Here was major. Was like, listen, it's not for me. It's not one of my favorite. It's not.
The thing is, it's the Kelly Rowland factor. It's the Kelly Rowland factor.
Yeah, of course. If you ask me my favorite Nelly songs, Hot in Here would not be on the list. However, we're talking charts. I can't ignore the monster that Hot in Here was.
Yes. Got it right here. Yeah, so there's no all right. Since they were both on the same album, it's kind of hard to differentiate it. But
Billboard 200. How many weeks was Hot
in Here? Billboard 200. All right.
How many weeks was Hot in Here on Billboard 200 as opposed to how many weeks Dilemma was on Billboard 200? And how long were they #1? That'll determine it.
All right.
I believe Hot in Here is going to be pretty competitive with Dilemma.
Yeah, pulling it up now. Right now, that album sold 8 million copies in its first month.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nelly was moving units.
Oh yeah. He just got washed on the
verses. Yeah.
Yeah, on the verses, but it's show up drunk. That's what's going to happen. All right. You said the Billboard 200.
Yep.
Okay, got it right here. All right. Dilemma was there for 10 weeks at #1.
Okay.
And it spent 29 weeks on the chart period.
Wow. All right. So what about Hot in Here?
And Hot in Here was 7 weeks at #1.
Okay.
26 weeks on the chart.
Yes, Dilemma wins, but Hot in Here is competitive.
And actually, Country Grammar, as far as songs that he wasn't a feature on, his songs, the longest it spent on there was Country Grammar.
Really?
34 weeks.
Wow.
But Dilemma spent the most at #1.
Makes sense. I mean, Dilemma was an absolute. I mean, Dilemma's it's a great song.
It is, and it's just like when you're coming up with the list of the songs that have the most accolades and awards and all of that, and the cross, what's the word? The cross, audiences, crossover with Kelly. It's just,
it's a monster. It's an absolute monster.
Happy birthday to him.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was a good list. You did a good job there.
I like it.
I love the fact that Hot in Here was not #1.
I was going to say, I don't. It's
yeah.
It doesn't deserve it. It deserves top 3. I didn't push it down. I put it at 3. I wasn't disrespectful and put it at 5.
Right.
But it's not #1. Like it's just not like. Not everybody can be #1, and that's not #1.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Let's get this dub tonight, Marcus. Let's get this dub tonight. Let's get these dubs tomorrow.
Yep.
Let's get a parade.
I want 3 dubs in the next 2 days.
Try dubs.
Yep.
If you see me at the parade, just know this. No, you didn't. Okay? No, you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't see me there.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got a jam-packed rest of this week with games out the wazoo. I think Saturday I'm actually going to check out the Union. Why not?
How are you?
I'm going to give the Union a little bit of love.
Okay.
I don't know what channel they're on. I'm going to find the channel. I'm going to give it a little love.
I mean,
you know what? I have a wedding Saturday.
Wedding season.
Yeah, I have a wedding Saturday, so maybe I'm not going to be able to do that. Well, but I was going to. The temp was there. I was going to give it a shot. I was going to get in there.
I mean, you can always look it up on Twitter afterwards.
Yeah, I'll actually look up the score. I think it's a commitment.
If they win, will you tweet about it?
I'll put something out. Yes.
All right.
Congratulate the Union. It's done. Done and
tag the show in it so the show can repost it.
1,000%. That's done. Let's go Phillies. Let's go Eagles. And we'll hopefully talk to you next Tuesday.
Real
and
quick,
talk
do you know
about-
who's throwing out the first pitch tonight?
No, I don't.
I don't know either. That's why I was asking.
No, I don't. I have no idea.
Okay.
But yeah, Mark's tweeting everywhere.
At Justin Emery Show on the Bluebird app.
Bradham Emery Pod everywhere. BradhamShow.com for the merch. Check out our friends at Vantage Jewelers. And until next time, you can be with us, you can be against us. You're never going to stop us. Late.